Hi, I'm great. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. I am frantically trying to switch over to the main the main presentation, and I should be with you in just a second. Now, um, having a little difficulty finding my deck on the share screen. I don't know why it's not popping up.
Oh,
If anyone
I
can,
think we got it.
that's not
Yeah, I
it.
can see it. Yeah.
Can you see it? I can't. I don't think this is it.
Okay. I can see future of work on the screen right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
on the slide.
Okay, so now we're just going to present then. Okay, perfect.
Cool.
So it's in full screen?
Full screen looks magnifica.
Okay, fantastic. So listen, I mean, I thank you so much for that introduction. And it's true, when we talk about the future of work, there are a lot of interesting predictions that float around. I just read the other day, for example, that Dell Technologies estimated that 85% of jobs the students today will have by 2030 haven't been invented yet. And 85% is a really big number, especially when you consider that 2030 is 6 years away. So, I mean, there's a lot of what and where do you get those numbers from? And I really want to do some level setting with this presentation today and just let you know that if a massive revolution is about to happen, I'd like to know too. So I think I really wanted to like set the standard here about AI, the future of work, what's likely to happen, and how you can prepare. Now, I'm going to just go on a little slight tangent, and I want to take you with me. Once upon a time, like a long time ago, there was a man in the 1870s who scaled a high mountain, and he found himself in this remote, beautiful village called Erewhon. And it was a wonderful place, except he noticed that in this place, there were no machines. And he asked them, why do you not have any machines? Everything's done by hand. And their response was that they expected that machines were dangerous. They would take over the world and replace mankind. And that book was written in the 1870s in Industrial Revolution England when Luddites and lots of people were taking to the streets, destroying machines because they were afraid that these machines would take their jobs. And that's a lot of the same fear that we have today around AI and the future of work. What does it mean when it comes to our jobs? And obviously over the past several years since the pandemic, we have become accustomed to doing a lot of things differently. Look at this Zoom call. We're used to, when we put it in our calendar, that we're going to have a Zoom call rather than a face-to-face call. We are changing, our habits are changing, but in addition to that, technology has been outpacing everything we do. So for example, I mean, in 2021, we heard, we went from Zoom to Mark Zuckerberg talking about the metaverse. 2022, everybody was talking about NFTs and Web3, and 2023, it was blockchain and Bitcoin, and then over the past 2 years, we have not stopped hearing about AI, and so it's not surprising that a lot of people feel overwhelmed, right? It's exhausting even. It feels a lot like everything, everywhere, all at once. Now, when we talked about Erewhon, you might have noticed it's an anagram for nowhere. And, I want to talk to you and give you perspective about where we are today, add perspective about AI, the future of work, and what you need to be successful. Now, my background is, as you said, I'm a Catherine Henry, I'm a futurist, and I've been focusing on megatrends. My master's in economics and my MBA in economics and management is all about trend forecasting and marketing. And I began my career at the World Bank Group. I went on from what do I say from World Bank to Wall Street, advising global banks and institutions about new technology. So as an institutional investment advisor. And my book, Virtual Natives, does in fact talk about Gen Z, the future of work, money, culture, and society. Now, delving a little bit deeper into AI, AI is, we're all familiar with AI. We know what it can do. We know that you can type in text and voila, within seconds, you get pictures, videos, music. You can even write a book with it. AI is fantastic for even doing more complex tasks, everything from scanning X-rays to computing, complex mathematical equations, doing legal documents, and also maybe even doing your taxes. So it's really great at converting something we have into something we don't, and taking it, making and synthesizing it into something much more usable. So that's super, super exciting. But the thing that it requires is data. So today, AI is a tool to take what we do and do it faster, right? So it's an accelerator. The bigger question is, can it do our jobs? And the answer to that is it's complicated. And why is it complicated? Well, it's complicated for a couple of reasons. I would say the first is because it's a useful tool for synthesizing basic research, tables, format, even useful stuff, right? But for enterprise at scale, think of a massive, massive global company. Think of, I don't know, a shipping company, logistics company. Think of Nabisco or Nestle that has both production, distribution facilities. It's global. It has packaging, and then it has to deliver it to stores all around the world. That's a massive, massive organization. A company like that, it's going to take a long time to integrate AI across its business operations. And the reason for that is that, first of all, we need to get data. We need to get that data, real-time, useful data, in a way that we can operate with it. But unfortunately, a lot of data is incorrect, incomplete, unavailable, and if you can get it, because in some places like the EU, it's very difficult, even if you can get it, it's expensive. So getting the data in a way that's, easy to use, it's stable, and it's, you can use it on a regular basis. It is difficult to migrate it into one place, organize it, and also use it on and retrieve it systematically. So integration into the workflow of your day to day is going to be very difficult. Taking that information and then being able to use it operationally in real time to track, let's just say, marketing and market demand around the world, or to track production or distribution. All of those things are pretty complicated, not to mention scalability. So 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 the realistically, even if we create software and we have the infrastructure to use it, even if we were to do this, which at scale, as I said, for a large organization, going to take more than 2 to 5 years. It's going to take, for them to also do this at the granular level. Of course, if you take something that's repetitive or relatively straightforward, like a call center, if you are a content creator, if you work on insurance or tax forms where you take the same form and use it all the time, that is something that can be automated. And I fully expect it will be over the next 5 years. But I think that a lot of us really need to focus in over the next 5 years is upskilling and training, and that's imperative. But the real thing that I think is going to change over the next 5 years is not so much what we'll do, but how and where we'll do it, and more importantly, what sort of skill sets are we looking at? So, fun fact, I don't know if you knew this, but we had portable computers, personal computers in the 1980s. This is a Commodore PET. It was the kind of the iPad of its time. It was absolutely revolutionary computer. And it's funny because when we think about it, we had it 50 years ago. So why haven't we been using them all this time? Why have we been doing these long, expensive commutes, missing kids' sports games, music events? Why have we not been able to relax, meet up with friends, and or take the dog for a walk instead of spending all of our time in trains and automobiles trying to get to and from work? So the thing about technology is that we have this opportunity to uh, to upscale, but we don't. And the reason is that the pandemic has recently changed our relationship with technology pretty substantially. And so while management may insist on return to the office, no matter how attractive that is, it's outdated. And so why is that? What
Hi,
happened?
I'm Catherine D. Henry, and I'm excited to introduce you to my animated avatar. My picture was created using the
And that's one of the technologies that's emerged in the interim. The thing is that today, the thing that's changed the most is culture, right? Culture has changed. We have something that's called the domestication theory. And it means that once people start using technologies, once they discover what it's really great at, that's when they won't go back. In the 1990s, for example, Steve Jobs had to send a note out. It was a memo, and we're not sure it was typewritten, but it basically said, "You're not allowed to use typewriters anymore. I want everyone henceforth to start using our PCs. So throw away your Commodore, throw away your typewriters. We have to start using PCs." So partially, this is a way of enforcing a new cultural norm within our own companies, right? So as HR professionals, you surely will have this experience of knowing that this is something that you have to kind of make sure that they're setting new standards and new expectations across the company. And so, and effectively, the beast of technology, once it has been released, it becomes domesticated. And that's where we are today. We're not turning back, and that's a good thing. And I want to talk a little bit more about why that is. You know, uh, there is a great conversation that Google CEO Satya Nadella had with the LinkedIn CEO Roslansky, and he told them the story. He said, "Listen, did you know that 87% of workers are more productive working in a hybrid environment, whereas 85% of managers believe that their employees are not being productive?" Well, and why is that? Doesn't make sense. But here's the thing: it's called productivity paranoia. And what it is effectively is a cultural and generational gap. And this is something where managers who tend to be Gen X or boomers don't trust the majority of workers who are Gen X to Gen Z. And there's a paranoia because they're not accustomed to managing something that they can't see. And yet today, our workflows, our workforce are both virtual. They're virtualized. And I use the picture of a dinosaur in the top corner intentionally, but it gives you a sense that now we're using tools, whether it's augmented and virtual reality or multiple screens, as in the bottom picture. These are all enabling us to do work very, very differently from the past. And so culturally, we've shifted. We've had this domestication theory. We have tamed this beast of new technology. And so culturally, we have to adapt. But rather than retrofitting young people to an outmoded system, the challenge that we face today is getting our managers up to speed and retraining them for virtual work and workflows. So I want to turn now first to leadership and specifically address this growing divide between management and the rest of our staff, which is getting wider, and how it's driven by culture. Now, the past 6 weeks plus, I've been working out of this chateau. That's literally where I'm talking to you from right now. I'm in France, and I have been working in what is a co-working, co-living castle. It was built in the 12th century, and it has some 15 bedrooms, suites. They're quite large, and in another manor house, they have another 4-bedroom suite. So it's quite a large place where digital nomads come from all around the world. They rent a space for about a month, and you can also use the workspace. So I'm in the workspace. It's full of the latest equipment, open 24/7. And on the weekends and holidays, you get a chance to take a break, go on an historic tour of one of the local towns or villages. You can play sports. You can, boat around along the river. There are a number of things that you can do. But the most interesting thing about this is that it's something that attracts a lot of digital nomads, anywhere aged from between 25 and 55 plus, I suppose, who are here because they value their independence, they value autonomy, but they also crave community. But they get a chance, this is highly skilled international talent. And on the other hand, there are countries that now are issuing talent visas to attract this new digital nomad. Again, the genie is out of the bottle, domestication theory. Once we're able to do it, we do it. So when I talked about the future work being more how and where you do it rather than, why AI or what it's doing, that's very real. So what we're looking at is a redefinition of work. Some 17 million American workers today are digital nomads, and 80% of them are highly satisfied as compared to under 60% of office workers. And we're looking at 60% of digital nomads who plan to continue their lifestyle, and the majority of those are Gen Z. So the takeaway is that, again, if you are if you're in HR, you want to think about how employees today are demanding boundaries around personal and professional time and flexibility around location. And that's at time zone. This is a value that they have, and they want to be respected and trusted that they will do their work. So again, when we talk about the paranoia, the perceptional gap, we really need to redefine that relationship with our employees such that we trust them to do what they're going to do wherever they do it. And that's especially important when you think about reskilling, upskilling, rather than mass layoffs, because mass layoffs can lead to organizational paralysis, not only because you've lost a lot of people and you have to reshuffle and figure out who does what now, but it's also because it prohibits them from being creative and thinking, what can I do next? How can I improve the quality of what I'm doing? Instead, people start thinking, how can I keep my job? How can I avoid this, or should I start elsewhere? And so there's an attention drift there. And yet that can be very, very expensive to companies. Attrition and vacancies cost some $52,000 per employee if you're looking to replace them. And, other studies show that lighthouses really focus on the new digital roles, the digital transformation roles, primarily those in technology and operations. And I love this study by McKinsey. It was earlier this year, and it says that innovation leaders deliver two times better financial performance and up to 6 times higher total shareholder value or return to shareholders because they are innovation leaders. So rethinking how we use our talent, not just only by reskilling and upskilling, but also retaining our youngest workers who have the best skill sets. And I think this chart really illustrates it beautifully, because it shows that the youngest generations are those who are most comfortable with technology. You can see very clearly whether it's learning new systems, social media, who have just fluency across digital skills and use the internet daily. The youngest ones are the ones who are really delivering the most value. And so this is really one of the things that we want to pay attention to, is that, we can't fit, again, our organizational models to retrofit it. We have to rethink about how we are living and working. And the younger the worker, the more likely they're going to want to work wherever they want. And so the takeaway is that employees are going to demand that their boundaries and their personal professional time is respected, and that they get a chance to do whatever they want, because there's high demand for this new skill and this new talent. And if we don't recognize them, they are likely to move on. So the big picture for 2030, are we expecting a massive revolution? Is AI going to take away all our jobs? Well, I don't think so. But what I would say is that Even if you're not changing your job is changing. So what does that mean? It means that we have to evolve a virtual leadership culture. Again, retraining, upskilling the people who are in management positions to think differently, to shift their perception, and think of this as an opportunity to expand, to modernize, to become an innovation leader rather than an innovation laggard, and to close that perception gap, stop the paranoia, and really build trust and respect as part of your core company values. And I think that's going to go a long way to retaining some of that top talent. The second thing is to build skills around the consumer experience. Not only is Gen Z one of your top talent pools as one of the largest generations and most diverse, it also is the largest consumer pool. So having Gen Z as integrated into your work teams across your business is going to be essential, not only because they bring the skill set with them, but also because they understand the new way that young people are working on different social platforms. And we go into this a lot in the book in Virtual Natives. I highly recommend it for various reasons, but it really underscores not only how diverse talent drives the evolution of any social platform, but also diverse creators tend to create more buzz, more social buzz, and how that happens. So there's a real return on investment from building skills around the consumer experience, hiring young, diverse talent with a skills first mentality, and making that pool a very rich pool to draw from is going to drive return on shareholder value and make your kind of company an innovation leader, as well as opening it up to new people. And what do I mean by that? Well, when we think about skills, it's just, what can you do as opposed to what degree do you hold? Because you may have a college degree, but you may not know how to, you may not be a content creator. The two are not the same. So we have to think very specifically about what the skills are that really meet the demand that you have. The final thing is, building a culture of trust and respect because values matter. Values are tremendously important to Gen Z, and they are more likely to stay with a company or a product that reflects their values, more so even than money, because people matter. And you'll find that in the age of AI, that is tremendously important. So, in the end, I just want to say that since the dawn of the Industrial Revolution over some 200 years ago, there have been a lot of predictions around tech ruining the lives and livelihoods of everyone it touches. And that's generally false. But I would say that even a clock is right at least 2 times a day. So while the capabilities of machines are exponential. They're growing exponentially. And we as humans can only grow gradually. We will have to continue to upskill and reskill not only our own set of talents, but also the talent pool of those around us whom the company employs. And that's essential. We also need to adopt new technologies and really push ourselves to experiment with some of the AI tools and see how it can work for us and make our lives more efficient and easier. And frankly, some of these tools are fantastic. I really recommend playing with them. But especially it really comes to the attitude when it comes to management and leadership, thinking about building a culture of trust and mutual respect for the employee with the human at the center. Because, inclusivity is the key. It's the only thing that separates us from machines, and that is our shared humanity. So I say, don't fear change, prepare for it. It's an exciting, exciting time ahead with multiple new technologies to make this a much better world than it is today. So stay positive and, and move forward. And yeah, I just want to say that if there's any way I can help at all, go dive deeper into any of these topics, I'd be more than happy to do that. My book, Virtual Natives, is available on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Target, Walmart. It's in video, it's in audio format. And I'm also happy to talk to you or any of your corporate groups about digital transformation, the future of money, future of work, spatial computing, you name it. So please feel free to reach out for me. And that's it for me, unless there are questions. Thank you so much.
Wow, Catherine, that was absolutely amazing. And you're in a chateau right now?
I'm in a chateau. Yeah, it doesn't look like this. It's a lot
No, no,
older.
no. I was I
But
was
it's late
moved
night
to.
here, so I can't show it off.
Oh, fair. Did you watch the reality show Escape from the Chateau? Because I was a huge fan.
I did not, and I don't feel like escaping. I leave on a Monday, and it's just been terrific. I highly recommend.
Oh, it's Escape to the Chateau is what they did, not from. Sorry.
I don't blame them. I don't blame
Yeah.
them. No, it's been fantastic.
Wow, 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 wow. Well, there is so much in there. I can't wait to dive into your book. I really am excited about that. I love that you've made it accessible for all types of folks, whether they want to read it, listen to it, watch it. It's so good. You really have thought of everything.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's been a real pleasure because we feel very strongly that Gen Z is at the vanguard of much of the change that we're experiencing. We can look to them for guidance to lead us through this because they understand not only the technology, but what people want to see. But so having that consumer experience and that Gen Z focus is essential, but also tapping into their values and saying,
Mhm.
understanding and respecting their need for flexibility and autonomy because otherwise they can find digital jobs where they don't have to work for anybody. And I'm
Right.
seeing that increasingly as people, pass through here or even on my travels. It's really quite extraordinary. So I'm expecting that to be possibly one of the bigger transformations that we see is this digital nomad culture that permeates
Mhm.
society, especially it's perpetuated by TikTok, Instagram, and all the others where you can see how well people are living as they travel around the world. And by the way, I do that myself. Catherine in Paris, come follow me.
Oh, I will. I love chateau peeping, as you have learned.
Yeah. Next stop is Paris, then Austria and London. So it's really is a lifestyle that we're starting to see emerge, and companies to stay competitive are going to need to keep this flexibility that rather than retrofitting and sitting at the desk so that the boss can see you why. So
Right. Right. Like you said, once we go in, there's no going back, right?
that's right. That's right. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure. And again, if anybody has questions or wants to contact me, I'd be more than delighted to hear from you.
That's fantastic. So you got your email there that you gave
Yeah.
us. We also can find you on all of the things, including LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok,
LinkedIn,
all.
absolutely. I post a lot about, futurist trends in technology and I answer every single comment and note that comes through. So
See, there's some things we shouldn't automate, right?
that's right. I love that conversation.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for making the time today, Catherine. This is an absolute delight. Thank you for sharing your insights with us. I really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
The pleasure has been mine. Have a great day.
Thanks. Take care now.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah.